Imagine having the opportunity to listen to one of the greatest tennis players of all time talk through the reasons for their success. Well, today you can, as I filmed a Q&A with Novak Djokovic where he talks through 3 of the reasons why his tennis career has been so successful. And if you hang around to the end of the video, you'll hear his goals for 2023. Let's check it out. Welcome back. Thanks for watching this video. If you're new to the channel, my name is Ashley Neves and I create content for tennis players, coaches and parents to get more out of the sport. And as you know, today's video is a special one as we're going to listen to Novak Djokovic talk about his tennis career. This opportunity came about when I was invited to the ASICS Tennis Summit. Now, Novak Djokovic attended this as he wears ASICS shoes and he was talking about his involvement in the design of the new shoes. However, after this, he answered some of our questions. Now, of course, I was in my element soaking it all up, but at the same time, I left my camera rolling as I knew that you guys would enjoy seeing this too. So I've compiled 3 of my favorite responses from Novak, along with when he spoke about his goals for this year. I've put timestamps in this video so you can skip through to certain parts. Anyway, enough of me talking. You want to hear from Novak, so I'll catch up with you at the end of the video.
I mentioned this morning that I grew up as a big tennis fan. As an American in the 80s, my sort of childhood hero is John McEnroe. And not for sportsmanship all the time, but definitely the passion that brought to the court. I'm curious, you started playing at an early age in Serbia. Who were your tennis heroes growing up?
Well, someone from your country, Pete Sampras, was my childhood idol. Not so much as our similarities in game styles, because we had completely different styles of tennis, but his mental strength was something that was so impressive to me, and I always wanted to be like him in those moments, so calm, so composed, so strong, so brave. And, I was maybe missing the first and second serve of Pete Sampras that was getting him out of the trouble many times, but I just was very, very impressed with how, composed and mature he was always, and how big of a champion, of course. And I met him when I was in the United States playing Indian Wells, just before Indian Wells tournament. So I met basically all of my childhood idols next to him. He was the biggest one, but then what I tried to do when I was a kid is to copy one shot, best shot of that particular player. So with Pete was, of course, his attitude on the court, his serve, and then Edberg's volleys, Agassi's backhand and return. It would be Patrick Rafter's also volleys. I love that. Forehand from Pete, and from Carlos Moya and the guys on clay. So I try to take something from every player, and that's where my impersonations, by the way, come from. Because as a kid I always liked to, Boris Becker's serve, I always like to impersonate. And when I met Pete in 2010, I met all of the other guys before, but him, I don't know, it just, we weren't able to cross paths. And then when I met him, it was an incredible feeling, somebody you're looking up to. And I got a chance to play with him a little bit and talk, and he was very kind to share some advices. Yeah, so this was kind of my story with him.
And now there are millions of children around the world that look up to you as their idol. So it's nice that.
Well, of course. I hope so. I hope so. Yes. They were asking me about the sliding, right? And I get this question a lot. Like, why do you slide so much? And when did it start? And so it's automatic for me now. But I think, as I mentioned, skiing has helped a lot with that, because my father was a professional skier. My uncle, my aunt, so I grew up in a family of competitive skiers, and I spent a lot of time on the mountain. So I was also competing when I was younger, like 9, 10, 11 years old, also a few races. So for me, that was one aspect that helped me with the ankle mobility, because, obviously you don't have a perfect slope, so you always have to, have a lot of different adjustment movements with the ankle. And the second thing is that I played a lot outdoors on uneven surfaces. And that was not intentionally done. At that time we didn't really think about it, but because of the technological era and development today, kids are spending less time outdoors and maybe less time in the uneven surfaces, which I think, and you know, through my tennis center in Belgrade, we always try to encourage kids to go, take them to places where, you know, they have to all the time adjust. Because today, you know, everything is so convenient, right? You walk on the flat surface, which is great, but you need an effort, you know, you need to challenge your ankles, you need to challenge your joints, because that's how you, through practice and and this kind of conscious or unconscious training, you know, outdoors, you train your ankles and you know, to be more adaptable and more flexible. So that's as a kind of a side note. But what was your question?
What do you think has been the crucial factor that has made you so incredibly good and so incredibly successful?
It's hard to pick again one factor, but if I need to choose, it would be probably dedication. Cannot leave out the passion and love, because professional sport is demanding in different ways. Every sport is different, and you need to be really living fully this lifestyle, you know, in order to reach the highest of the heights and stay there. But I always try to remind myself that why I started to play tennis as a kid. No one has touched the racket in my family before me, so tennis was not a sport of our family. It was something different. So I fell in love with the sport because it was a kind of an accident that they were building 3 tennis courts in front of the restaurant that was run by my family, like literally 50 meters away. And I was 4 or 5 years old. So of course I was curious and I was interested, and I started looking at those courts and helping the workers build those courts. I asked my parents, what is this sport? Started to watch it on TV. I asked my parents to buy me a racket, and that's how it all started. So I try to remind myself of the importance of maintaining the love and passion for the game, because I really like going out to play with my wife, with my son, with my brother. I just like playing tennis, whether it's a practice session, whether it's a match, whether it's playing points, whatever it is, I just love the sport. So I think this is very, very important to maintain. And then, of course, the dedication of really trying to get the most out of myself and everything that is required from this sport in order for me to be the best player in the world. And it's a lot of different details that we don't need to get into now, but I think dedication and love and passion. I think it's important to have the clear goals, you know. Because one thing is, okay, I love the game, I enjoy it. Sometimes I don't enjoy it as much. It's a hustle, it's an effort, but that's life, you know. You have good days, bad days. You have to, you know, that's why I think you have to have a clear goal in order for this goal to really pull you in this direction when the times get tough on the court.
So my final question to you is actually, what will be your goals for 2023?
Well, when it comes to goals and ambitions, they are always the highest for me. Especially at this stage of my career, I have to be less humble, I guess, and modest when I talk about goals, because I feel like throughout my career I was very lucky and fortunate to achieve, you know, many things and win the biggest trophies that are in this sport. So I feel still that, you know, winning Torino and still winning the biggest tournaments in the world and playing against the best players in the world on a high level, I still allow myself to dream big. So basically any tournament that I play on, I want to win. It's not a secret, but the biggest goals are, of course, the Grand Slams and you know, Masters event, obviously, the end of the year, and Masters 1000 events, wherever I get to play. And I love playing for my country, you know. So playing Davis Cup, ATP Cup is no more there, but, you know, playing for my country also awakens the most beautiful emotions in me. So, you know, I still keep going, and probably the biggest goal of everything, I talked about professional tournament goals, but the biggest goal that I have for next year and all the years to come. I don't know how many I'll be still playing, but is to try to stay healthy and be able to perform at the highest level. Because I really don't, at the moment, I don't see myself playing professional tennis and not being able to be one of the candidates or one of the favorites to win a Grand Slam or be at one of the top spots in the world. I don't see myself being 25 and playing at the medium high level. I just want to play always at the highest level. That's something I demand from myself and my team. I demand from them, they demand from me, and I work as hard as anybody really on the tour, maybe even harder than anybody, because I know that 35 is not 25 or not 15, so you have to adjust to an age differences, and you have to catch up with the young boys that are pumped, motivated, very very powerful. So but I'm still there. I'm still there. Still feel as young as them.
Sounds like in summary, win as much as possible next year, right?
Short answer, yes.
Exactly, perfect.
So I hope you found those insights as interesting as I did. One of the things that Novak didn't mention directly, but I'm sure he alluded to, was his bid to become the Grand Slam title record holder. Currently he sits behind Rafa's 22 Grand Slam titles. Now my question for you is, do you think he can overtake Rafa this year? Let me know in the comments below. As always, a big thank you for joining me in this video, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Take care.